जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह। और अभी हम एक बहुत ही इंस्पायरिंग पर्सनालिटी के साथ गुफ्तगू में होंगे। नेहा झुंझुनवाला भाई, शी इज अ वैंक्विशर ऑफ द ऑटो इम्यून डिसऑर्डर। बहुत लोग हैं हम लोग जो हमको कहीं बीमारी हो जाती है एंड हम हार जाते हैं। हम मेंटली वी गिव अप, वी फील अरे कुछ नहीं हो सकता। बट शी हैज फॉट अगेंस्ट ऑल ऑड्स, really very mentally tough. And we will talk, she has got a very inspirational journey. There are so many stories that she can share. But here let's be in conversation with her and let's learn about her. Let's understand about her life experiences and try to learn from her experiences to uplift our own selves. Neha, thank you very much for taking time. Very sweet of you.
Thank you, sir, for having me over here. And thank you for giving me the platform to address this issue, I would say, because autoimmune is something which is extremely common amongst everybody. There are thousands and thousands of variations of autoimmune. Like, ever since I was diagnosed with it, I realized how common it is. I think I was oblivious to the whole term of autoimmune. So I was diagnosed with it about 6 years back. I was flying back from US, and I had a lot of pain in my leg when I came back. I thought it was vitamin B deficiency, D3 deficiency, all of that. But to I came a point where I couldn't walk properly. It's not that I couldn't walk, but I couldn't walk straight. If I had to climb a step, I couldn't climb a step. I had to hold two people to climb. And then I was like, something is wrong. This can't be vitamin B12 and D3 deficiency. So I visited a neurologist and I had an MRI done. And that's when I was diagnosed with MS. So I had no clue what MS was. For me, MS meant MS Dhoni. Literally, that is what it was. I had no idea. It wasn't so common in India. There was nothing what it was. But when I Googled what MS was, one of the first lines I read about it, that it's not as bad as cancer, but it's not a cough and cold. But for someone to say it's not as bad as cancer as a starting point, I knew something was amiss. Um, I read about it. The worst case scenario of it, you can't walk, you can't talk, you can't eat because you have no control over your movements, you can't control your urine. Uh, Basically, a vegetable. And that's a worst case scenario. And then when I was in the MRI machine, I was like, what if that happens to me? I like to believe it doesn't happen, but what if the worst situation happens? Am I happy the way I've led my life? I thought that, yeah, about 80% I am, but 20% I would like to change. So when I got out of that machine, I was like, what is that 20% that I would like to change if tomorrow I can't walk? I felt I was very stressy about everything in life. I wanted to control everything. I wanted things to be perfect. But then I realized that if I can't walk, and then even if I haven't drawn a line straight, it doesn't matter. I just realized that I was giving too much of pressure on myself. I was taking toxic relations in my life because I felt socially it is bad to walk away from a toxic relationship. Um, I don't know, I just felt I wasn't giving myself enough love and respect that I deserved. And I thought, you know what, I'll change it. I felt if this disease has come into my body, it's come to teach me something. Because your body is like your mother. It can never harm you unless you've pushed it to a level where it has no option but retaliate. Believe me, sir, I used to have so much of pain on my leg that I couldn't sit straight. But I would just touch that part of my leg and I would ask it for forgiveness. And 9.9 times out of 10, my pain would go in a split second. So I realized how we can talk to our body and how it listens to us. So I would touch that part of my body and I would tell it that if you've come into me, you've come to teach me a lesson. Teach me that lesson that you have to teach me, but then please go. Today it's been 6.5 years and I'm perfectly okay. I've done treks, I've climbed. Like, climbing is like how it is for everybody else. um, so I feel, of course, I was taking some medicines for it, but I feel more than that, what actually helped me was internal healing and alternative healings, which I can't stress enough about. In fact, I had a doctor in US, and when I was telling him about all the alternate things that I was doing, he said, you know what, it's amazing that you're from a country like India which believes in all this, because in the West we just feel that inject yourself, do this, do that, but this is the power of the mind is so important that and I felt really proud being an Indian that time. He said, we are so happy that we have countries like India which keeps that alternate healing, and that it shows us what the power of the mind is. So first thing, I started practicing forgiveness. I realized I had to forgive some people in my life, but I realized I had to forgive myself also because I was just too harsh on myself. क्यों नहीं हुआ? First क्यों नहीं आए? It's okay, it doesn't matter. And actually, I realized it was harder for me to forgive myself than it was for forgiving some people who, in many ways, had wronged me. So every morning and evening, I would practice forgiveness. The one thing which completely changed my mind, which I feel if you have an autoimmune, don't have an autoimmune, this is literally miracle, is practicing gratitude. For 5 years, every night before I slept, I would write down 10 things I was grateful for. So I'll give a classic example I give everyone. I had a big fight with my mom one day. I was like, I don't want to talk to you, and like really bad fight. That night in my diary, I wrote that I'm grateful I have a mom because there are many people in the world who don't have moms. I'm grateful I have a mom who talks to me because there are people who have moms so they don't communicate with each other. I'm grateful I have a mom who I can argue with because many moms will not let the kids argue, but my mom has given me that much of leeway that I have the right to argue with her and express my opinion with her. So I just started looking and turning anything negative that happened in my life. When I was go to sleep, that whole thing became positive. And I felt just by practicing gratitude, more good things kept happening. I mean, again, I really feel that love and the correct relation in your life also mentally heals you a lot. Like, I'm with this wonderful man and I tell him all the time that of course I have worked on myself, but I give you full credit for me being okay because the amount of love and respect he's given me, I feel that's gone a big way in curing me. So and another thing is food, because I feel we eat so much of rubbish nowadays, fried food. And I'm not saying you shouldn't eat fried. I eat maida, I eat all of that, but in limitations. We should know. We should know what suits our body. We should go back to little sattvic eating. Uh, so yeah, I think for me the main things was controlling my food, making myself happy. Like I have visited doctors in Dharamshala, from pranic healers, homeopathy doctors to doctors in US. They all told me one thing, that Neha, whether you eat something, whether you do something, doesn't matter. Promise us one thing, you will be happy. You have put yourself through not so happy moments. Promise us you'll be happy. So I realized that time that that's all they're asking me is to be happy, and how we as humans now almost don't know how to be happy. We're just so sad about everything. And if you look around, and mainly if you practice gratitude, you realize you have so much to be happy. We are like the fact that I'm sitting in a house with air condition, with a comfortable sofa. I mean, I'm what, that 1% of person in the world who has this comfort, right? So we have nothing to crib about. And I just feel like just this whole change in me, today I'm completely okay. There's no issue at all. Like I'm as fit, as healthy, as everything like anybody else. I'm working out crazily. There's nothing that you can do which I can't do today. So I feel mental health, mental strength, being around people who love you, walking away from things which don't work for you. It could be relationship, it could be food, it could be whatever, and giving yourself importance. I'm a big believer of self love. And in India, sadly, and mainly if you're a girl, then double sadly, if you say you believe in self love, it's, oh, what selfish hai. It's not selfish, because again, I tell this to everyone, you cannot pour from an empty jar. If you're not happy yourself, if you do not love yourself, you will never be able to spread happiness, you will never be able to spread love. So yeah, so these have been my learnings in the last few years, and I give myself utmost importance. uh, it's always me first, unless I'm not saying in a selfish way. I'm saying that I take care of myself. For me, taking care, if I've learned how to say no to things I don't want, even if it hurts you, I will explain you why I've said no. But just to make you happy, I will not say no if I know it's harming myself. So I think these few things in my life, I feel, has gone a big way in helping me. And meditation also, yeah, I used to meditate a lot. I've reduced a little bit. I started again last 2 months, which I'm really happy about. But I feel the whole meditation just going inwards, because
Right.
autoimmune is like your body attacking yourself. Your body cannot attack yourself. God has not made our body to attack itself. We've done something to it to push it to that point for it to attack. But if it's attacked, it's come to again teach us a lesson. Learn the lesson, it will go. So yeah, that's been my journey.
Neha, earlier, many years ago, we had very limited understanding about autoimmune disorders. We thought, नहीं यार कुछ नहीं, अगर पाँव में दर्द हो रहा है या अगर हाथ में दर्द हो रहा है, अगर आप कप नहीं पकड़ पा रहे हैं, so अरे नहीं नहीं कुछ नहीं यार, थोड़ा So then slowly, I'm glad the understanding has increased now. People know, and there are different forms of autoimmune disorder.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
seeing a TEDx talk where the speaker was saying that was diagnosed with autoimmune disorder lupus, and apparently the doctor told her lupus happens to those who feel left out, who feel unloved, and it was a very moving TEDx talk. मैं आपको भेजूंगा, शायद पहले भेजी होगी मेरे ख्याल से. And that is when that person woke up and realized, and that person like you fought lupus, fought autoimmune disorder. तो आपको knowledge होगी कितने तरह के autoimmune disorders होते हैं.
Oh, must be thousands. Like thousands are of it. Like my sister just got diagnosed with cirrhosis. That's like a skin related autoimmune. And I feel so happy. She said, Neha, do you know what? I
Oh,
will be okay.
psoriasis.
Psoriasis, yeah.
या वो स्किन पे पैचेस पड़ जाते
Skin,
हैं.
yeah. So yesterday she called me. She
And
said, Neha, you know what? I will be okay. I said, even I know you'll be okay. I said, but why are you saying that? She said, because you made yourself okay, I will make myself okay. So it's just in the mind. Like I have met so many people who have MS, and I feel very happy to say that after they met me, they felt better. They felt better mentally, they felt better physically. Because I feel if you mentally feel better, our mind is so strong, we physically will feel better. Like it's this is what the
right.
center of everything is. I mean, of course, there are certain things for which you need to take medication. I'm not a doctor, I'm not saying the doctors have no value. Of course, you have to do that in its space. But on the other side, we just have to have an extremely positive outlook, and we have to believe we will be okay, because then we will be okay. Even if you look at physics and all of that, it's you're at that vibration of knowing you are cured. So if you're in that vibration, you're attracting that vibration. So it's just science. It's not belief. It will come to you. So yeah, I feel very happy, and I'm extremely happy that you gave me this opportunity to talk about autoimmune, because I would say I've cured it, and I would love to talk to as many people out there who would want to understand about it and help them in their journey too, because it's so rampant. Like I would say every fifth person has some autoimmune. They may not even be knowing about it. There's like thousands of varieties of it, like skin diseases, liver, lung. Mine is my MS is it attacks the whole spinal cord, basically the nerves of the spinal cord. So there's so many
And
different kinds.
apparently, there is no cure, is what I have been told. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, and it can be controlled to a large extent, but it can't be cured. Is it true?
Yeah. So you have to basically know that you have to live with it. So I visited my doctor about a week back, and I told him, I said, sir, he said, you know what, Neha, you're okay, but just know that you've had it in your life. You know, uh, like I'm not letting go of not loving myself anymore because I'm cured. I'm not letting myself go and eating rubbish food all the time. I'm not letting myself go and coming into people or society pressure and doing some things which don't suit me. So I think now the this way of living has become a way of life. I'm sure it's left my body, but I have to monitor it throughout my life. It's not something which they say can, maybe it never goes, and maybe it's just it's at a low position which will be there, but it won't harm you in any way. Like for me, it's not harming me in any way. So even if it's there, it doesn't matter to me at all.
It's like a dragon, which can sleeping dragon can suddenly wake up
Yeah,
anytime, any moment if you don't control it. Okay.
you have to keep that
And
with you.
आपने डाइट जी आपने डाइट की बात की तो कोई मुझे कह रहा था कि चाय से एक्टिवेट्स द ऑटोइम्यून डिसऑर्डर इज इट आई मीन आई डोंट नो मुझे मालूम नहीं इसके बारे में बट डू यू हैव एनी नॉलेज अबाउट
So
दैट
more than chai, they say doodh. Milk, they say you should try and give up. So I love cheese and paneer. So I gave up having milk, but I couldn't give up having paneer and little bit of cheese. Cheese I really minimized. Like I gave up sugar for a year. So sugar, whatever cells are there, sugar multiplies it, right? So I feel that a lot of reason why I'm okay today is because for 1.5 years I cut down gluten, cut down sugar. Uh, I mean, if at all, I would have like one glass of wine in 2 weeks. Cut down alcohol. I don't smoke, so that was never an issue. I'm not a non-vegetarian, but they say you shouldn't eat non-veg that time. But non-veg again wasn't an issue for me. For me, giving up gluten was a big deal. I'm a big bread lover, big bread lover. I would love my naan with kali dal and paneer, and then with naan with that kali dal and paneer, I had to have besan ka roti. I'm like, oh God, please! Like, but now I'm back to eating my naan when I have to. It's not that now I have a very normal diet like anybody else, but I feel when it happened, I clipped it at the root, and I'm extremely grateful to a friend of mine because my doctors were like, "Oh, B12, D3, B12, D3." My friend, he's like, and he's a very famous dietitian also. He's like, why are you not sitting straight?" I said, "Ritesh, I can't. My leg is paining so much." Then he said, "Can you go and get an MRI done or meet a nerve doctor?" So I also feel God was with me that it got diagnosed at an early stage. Though now, after I got to know I have MS, the symptoms of MS were in my life a year before. So I probably didn't know it was MS, but it was there for a year, and I think a year in within a year I got diagnosed with it. So it was at an early stage, maybe because of which I could cure it. But yeah, it's all these things which I mentioned which helped me a lot.
And it is indirectly, one would say it's stress related. हम लोग we take life too seriously and we end up
Extremely,
stressing ourselves. So कहीं ना कहीं
yeah,
ये it's related to the nervous system, to
yeah,
stress
yeah, yeah,
basically,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I
But
mean,
no,
stress
Neha, I must
probably
say
got.
you,
Sorry,
जी,
बोलिए.
नहीं नहीं आप बोलिए please.
No, yeah, I'm saying I was the most stressful human being you'll ever see. I used to take stress about everything in life. It was a
Oh
very,
God,
very stressed phase of my life. Even now I take stress, but it's much lesser than what I would earlier. But even when I take stress, I'm like, अच्छा नहीं जाएगा shipment time पे क्या होगा? कुछ नहीं होगा. Relax करो. So I kind of always go back that okay, there's no need to take so much of stress. But yeah, you're saying stress is the main reason for most of the diseases today. Even cancer, they say, which is why every doctor, like a US doctor who doesn't believe in all this, to a Dalai Lama का एक doctor है धर्मशाला में who I had met, to him, to Pranik Healer, they all said, please be happy. That's what you owe yourself. Don't do anything else. Just please be happy. So again, how important our mind, and if we let our mind suffer so much, eventually one day it will come to the body. So we have to learn to stop the stress, the toxicity, everything at a mind level, because once it comes to your body, believe me, when I couldn't walk straight or I couldn't walk a step, in fact at one point I lost 70% vision in one eye of mine. So then I realized that क्या फायदा वो stress लेकर, today I can't see. You know what I mean? So I just feel it's not worth taking stress in life. We are and at least people like you and me, we're so blessed. We have everything, you know. There can be no end of wanting more things, but we have everything in our life.
what a story, Neha, what a story. And I would recommend, in fact, you should share the story on TED or TEDx or on these platforms. People
I would
should,
love
the
to.
awareness should be
I want a
created.
movie made of my life.
Yeah, exactly. You must write a book as well. And आपकी
Would
ये
love to.
कहानी से लोगों को प्रेरणा मिलनी चाहिए, उनको सीखना चाहिए. शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत हमारे लिए वक्त निकालने की. और मैंने टेड का नाम लिया और देखिए यहाँ पे बजे 18 मिनट. बिल्कुल, what a coincidence. This is called some
Wow.
coincidence somewhere. So really, I mean, I think you are an inspiration, and we are very, very proud of you. Thank you, Neha, for
Thank
your
you.
time. God
Thank
bless
you
you.
so much.
Take care.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.